And good evening, everybody, and welcome to Harbor Station for tonight's game between the St. John Sea Dogs and the Charlottetown Islanders. My name is Tim Roszell. This is the Tim Roszell Show. We are located behind Section F on the main concourse here at Harbor Station. My guest at this time is Peter Marsh, who is the father of St. John Sea Dog forward Adam Marsh. Peter, thank you so much for stopping by. You, of course, are living in Chicago now, but tell me a little bit about the game last night. The Sea Dogs pick up a win over Shawinigan by a score of 4-2. I know you were here. What did you think of last night's performance?
Well, obviously, the team getting the win is the main focus, and I thought they played well. It was a good game to watch. A lot of up and down action. I really think that the Sea Dogs came out to play in the end of the second period and into the third and took the game away from Shawinigan.
Now I know you have a particular focus coming to see your son play. What did you think of Adam last night?
Well, I've seen him play better. He knows it, and I think their line mates are getting it together, and it's a long hockey season, and for a young lad at 17, it's playing every day, practicing. It's a long grind, and they all have to get used to it. That's what the Quebec League's about, is teaching kids the long journey it is and how hard a season it is.
We're more than a third of the way through the regular season now, of course, and Adam is leading the Sea Dogs in scoring in his rookie season. You've got to be absolutely just thoroughly impressed with the way his season has gone so far.
Well, obviously, I'm very pleased and a very proud parent. I think he's worked awfully hard and to prove that he can play at this level and succeed. Again, like I said, it's a long season, and it's not what you've done for me before, but what you're going to do for me now. So he's got to keep his nose to the grindstone, and you're going to go through peaks and valleys. I know he hasn't scored for a couple of games, but as long as he's playing good defensive hockey and learning and playing the team concept.
You mentioned being a proud parent, and I know the first Sea Dog game that you got to see was in Halifax when Adam scored not only his first Quebec League goal, but a hat trick that night, including the game winner in overtime. You had to be just absolutely thrilled.
Well, it was, I actually kind of jumped on a plane at the last minute and flew over to Halifax, and had a good friend of mine who I played junior hockey with in Sherbrooke, Sid Vasey, who's a scout for the Sea Dogs. He lives in Halifax, and so I hadn't seen him in about 40 years, and sure enough, picked me up at the airport and went out to have a bite to eat and went and watched the game with him. And Sid and I and the bus driver sat up in the upper balcony and watched the game, and yeah, I was very proud of him.
Well, and you allude to Sherbrooke. We should go over your history a little bit. You are Canadian. You were born in Halifax and raised, I guess, in Eastern Canada, we'll say. But you're also a former NHLer, former WHA player as well, and settled in Chicago after your playing career with the Blackhawks. So what was it like coming back out to Atlantic Canada for probably the first time in quite a while?
It definitely was. I think once you get that salt air in your nose, it's something that you never forget. And I'll always be a Maritimer, and even though I haven't lived in the Maritimes, but I was born in Halifax, lived in Truro, lived in Moncton, grew up mostly in Montreal as a later teen. Played my junior hockey in Sherbrooke, and I'm doing the same thing my son's doing right now, so I know what he's going through.
Well, and when the opportunity came for Adam to come to the Quebec Major Junior Hockey League, all you had to do was look at your own history and say, hey, I played there for 3 years with the Sherbrooke Casters.
Well, it was a lot different back then.
Certainly.
These players are so talented now, it's amazing, and it's a 12-month of the year process for them, and training camp, there's no training camp. You've got to come prepared and ready to play for the season. But it's the same bus trips and the same club sandwiches after the road trip and stuff like that. And I was fortunate enough to ride on the bus on the way home from Halifax, Ross Yates asked me to come on, and that brought back a lot of memories, and it was kind of fun.
With Peter Marsh, the father of Adam Marsh, St. John Sea Dog forward, and of course former NHLer as well. And let's touch on your NHL career a little bit. A season and a half in Winnipeg, and then 3.5 years with the Blackhawks back in the late 70s and into the early 80s. Tell us what it was like in the NHL at that time. And you mentioned it being much different in junior hockey back, when you played in Sherbrooke. Certainly a different NHL as well.
Absolutely. It's, it was a dream of mine come true, and got to play with some, fabulous hockey players, and just to see how good they are. We really didn't have that great a team in Winnipeg my first year. They were one of the new expansion teams from the old World Hockey League. I did get traded to Chicago halfway through the following year, and we had some good teams in Chicago. We really did. Dennis Savard, Murray Bannerman, Tony Esposito, Reggie Kerr, Grant Mulvey. We just had a bunch of guys, but we did well in the playoffs. There was this team out west in Edmonton that we just couldn't get past, and a certain number 99 was on that team. So it was a thrill to play against him.
Yeah, you certainly weren't the only ones that had problems with him, that's for sure. Take us back to the time in the WHA as well. 3 years with the Cincinnati Stingers. You hear lots of stories about the type of situation and the type of league that the WHA was, and you were in the league right up until its final season. Was it as, we'll say, storied as we've come to understand over the years?
Well, obviously there was a mixture of very young players that the WHA was trying to lure from the NHL. Also a mixture of older players that had played in the NHL and their careers were winding down. Cincinnati, when I was there, we had a very young team. Players, Mark Messier was the team, Mike Gardner, Mike Liut, Dennis Sobchuk. We had an amazing young core of players. Mark Messier was, I think he was just turned 17 at the time, and obviously he went on to have a marvelous career, but as Mike Gardner did, and Mike Liut. So it was a lot of fun. I was a young kid myself at 18 years old, and really enjoyed it. My first car to drive. Just had a good time, a lot of good memories.
So when you're speaking with Adam about hockey as a potential career, what kind of fatherly advice do you pass along to him as, he's in his first year of major junior hockey. You remember what it was like back when you did that. And so what kinds of things do you tell Adam not only to expect but to respect as well when it comes to the game and to playing?
Well, you've really got to respect your teammates. I really don't tell him a whole lot. He's his own man now, and if he wants some advice, he'll always ask me, and I'll tell him. But he's on his own, and I think he's doing very well so far. But you just have to respect your teammates, respect the other opposing players, and just go out and play hockey. It's not about dropping the gloves and the fisticuffs that went on years ago when I played. It's so much more organized now and so much better. It's the chances that these young boys have is just phenomenal.
I want to ask you briefly, just as we wrap up here, Peter, what do you think of St. John and the surroundings that your son is able to grow and prosper in at the moment? Well,
St. John's couldn't be better. All the front office staff with Daryl Young and Wayne Long, it's just they've all been so amazing. Adam's family that he lives with, his billet family, just an amazing couple. They have a young son who's actually playing right now across the street, and Riley, and he's just a marvelous family, and Adam really enjoys it. Everybody I've met, I also know another billet family that live here, and they have a young boy living with them, and I know them back from the days in Montreal. So it's everybody's so they're Maritimers. What can I say?
Well, Peter, thank you so much for joining us. Enjoy the rest of your time here. I know we'll see you again, I'm sure, over the course of the regular season and into the playoffs as well. Thanks for stopping by.
Thanks so much, Tim.
That's Peter Marsh, father of St. John Sea Dogs forward Adam Marsh and former NHLer as well. This is the Tim Roszell Show. The Tim Roszell Show is brought to you by Lounsbury Furniture.